This is going to be very interesting. It looks like we're already in the match. This is grand finals, best of 3. So we've got a little bit to go, but first one is going to be on A10 City. And some interesting hovers. I doubt we're going to be seeing those, but overall, this could be a very, very interesting setup depending on those starting awakenings.
It seems they're banning Kai. One of Scyther's main picks is Kai. They want to just deny it because they know YouAlreadyLose can play more characters probably. Whipping out the S.A.D.B.O.I.S goalie. That's a very good pick on this map. I've been trying it out recently. I think it's very good. You have a lot of offensive pressure as well as defensive pressure.
Right, because also, of the combination of the abilities.
Yeah, exactly. You can take barriers from the goal arc, and it's really strong pick on this map. And another thing to note is I'm surprised that Core Underflower G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S didn't ban Bell's Rasmus because he's widely regarded as the best, if one of the best, if not the best Rasmus, and that character is very strong on this map.
Maybe they're trying to out damage it with a combo of Finii, Shrek, and Zentaro, and instead Vaughn going the side of even more control of that core with the Octavia, and we've been seeing it a little bit today. I know Yoki pulled it out earlier. This Octavia pick has been kind of starting to pop up more and more, right?
Yeah, I was a bit curious seeing the Octavia lock in, but now that it's Stagger start, it's starting to make sense. But for those of you that don't know, Octavia's main counterplay is to kill her, and the enemy team did a good job of blocking in a kill comp. So we'll see if they can kill Octavia before she gets her stacks.
Let's see if she can get those stacks. Gonna be eating up those orbs. Keep herself healthy for the time being, and YouAlreadyLose gonna be met with the sword of Leon for that gold barrier. But gonna get turned around. This ultimate not landing for Vaughn. Gonna get the Finii debuff, but could we have enough? And is gonna be able to send that primary alongside Bells crashing into Scyther. That's a first good goal, but overall, like, I don't know. Is that gonna be able to be consistently done?
I would say with this comp that the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S have selected, they are very feast or famine. With the Finii goalie not having much defensive pressure, if they don't kill the S.A.D.B.O.I.S, they will lose the game.
Depending on those KOs. I already see Vaughn has the core flip, not going to have any more evades, so they can dump the damage into him right now if they've got the opportunity. Evil7 sees it. Not going to be able to find much, though. Bell's going to start whacking away on his own. Core flip comes through. Oh, I don't know. Could be a couple of gravity wells, but a nice Rose Warp from YouAlreadyLose, and that's going to be at least delay the score for now, and you can already see the damage coming through. YouAlreadyLose's the one actually getting staggered this time around. No goals. Are they just messing up their combos?
I think that the team of G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S are really doing a great job in this midfield, winning strike wars and putting pressure on the enemy team. And they're down offensive abilities, and they're still able to keep core control.
Oh, just barely landing that one. Scyther having to run back and forth across the goal line, trying to win that 50-50. Bells, though, knowing exactly where to place that shot. S.A.D.B.O.I.S, they are able to claw it back, not succumbing to the pressure, midfield control that G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S had during that little volley.
And that's one of the downsides of having Finii goalie. You have all that pressure with your secondary to amplify damage and your primary to snipe across the map. But when the cookie crumbles, you don't have that much defensive protections of the goal barrier and the goal.
Right, especially if you're using it to put on that offensive pressure, then all of a sudden you're trying to use your abilities and they've already been eaten up trying to get that damage down. So it's an interesting little back and forth.
And it's quite interesting to see that they locked a damage comp on this map, as this is one of the weaker maps for damage comps. So it's a very big, open map, not very easy to get those KOs. But it still seems that they're able to hold their own in the core control department and the aggression without even getting KOs, which is really impressive.
It is very impressive. It's also impressive is the fact that they can keep this one going after the core had been on their side of the arena for so long. Core was online for YouAlreadyLose and for Scyther, so they have the defensive resources this time around. Not gonna use it, slips right by, barely walking up just a little bit to not land that strike, and Vaughn, very happy to see that one. Gonna get the MVP, which is really huge.
Yeah, Octavia, a character that getting at the top of the carousel is very important. As you can see here, you can pick up those trainings like Cast the Last, Chrono Boost. That greatly increases her effectiveness at keeping her speed. So Vaughn's character just got about 50% better with that Cast the Last pickup.
Like, that's insane. The fact that they got it on the first carousel, too. Just very unfortunate if you're the Glad boys. Not feeling too glad about that. Other interesting pickups, we're going to see Catalyst for You Already Lose. I guess I could see it, right? Just trying to maintain that pressure, but not going to get the aerials because it got denied by Lilian.
And Scyther grabbing Orb Replicator, and at Fin City, as we all know, a lot of orbs on this map, so if he can pick up Orb Blunder or Orb Dancer, maybe he can make something happen.
Hopefully he can make something happen. There's going to be something big happening currently, trying to get this core into position. Not going to find it quite yet. The Gold Berry goes down on the side of G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S. Leon and Eel Heaven have the abilities. They're going to send it right through that Estelle. And they, like you said, it's anyone's game at the end of the day.
Yeah. Estelle, a character that's very good at long-range core control keeping on enemy half, but when it comes close for her, she doesn't have Vodible abilities. They can stop at close range, so she just gets stuck by the Nitaro and the direct synchronize their abilities.
Synchronize they do. This is a team that will definitely be synchronizing up, trying to make sure that they are coordinating, talking. They have the practice doing it, right? They're very used to this kind of high-level play. They just need to execute just a couple times more. But Vaughn and Bells trying to interrupt that coordination, trying to keep each other at arm's length so they can keep this core. Not going to find this one. Barely keeping up the flow state is Vaughn. It's actually kind of huge. This piercing shot able to land and keep that one out of the goal. Core flip comes through. Scyther's able to at least turn it around, but this flow state is still active, and Vaughn's just trying to run around with that core. Finally, the damage gets dumped, and that's Eel Heaven and Leon able to collapse. You Already Lose gets scored on for a second time. Goomy, like, this is what we need to see, right?
Yeah, that round was a good example of what the teams are trying to play for. Vaughn's trying to play for that flow state with that cast last, keep it up for the entire round if he can until they score. And the team of G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S are just peppering him with damage until eventually they get KO. And an interesting note from the last round is a lot of people, when they see Finii, they just think of it as sort of a core control tool that can make the ball go around like that and get you possession of the ball, right? But last round, Scyther used it as a slowing tool, which is a very good strategy, as it has a very strong slow.
Ah, okay, right. To just like keep the enemies like where they are, not being able to let them roam this open map as freely as they might want to. Bell's gonna have to use that core flip and is gonna get turned around by Lilian. Gonna try and do some crazy shenanigans. Bell's finally gets staggered, has the Finii debuff. Just one more hit and might get taken out, but no, barely gets able to stay alive. And is a very scary position here at the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S. S.A.D.B.O.I.S trying to make a little bit of progress, but not able to do so. Lilian able to get that one through all of the pressure, and like you said, that ultimate able to put out a lot of slowing and like space taking up so that the players couldn't move around as effectively.
And that Zentaro character, once he gets a dash training, he's very hard to defend against as a goalie, as he can just dash across the map and just completely read your clear as what happened there.
Carousel comes online. That's gonna be interesting. Prime time for Drek. That's hard to play against.
Yeah, Primetime Drek, 1-2 punches and Taro, both very big damage trainings, and they're definitely playing into their comp's identity of killing Vaughn.
Vaughn is able to actually gonna pick up the Super Surge, so right off the bat gonna be even faster, as well as the cast last means it's gonna be lasting even longer. So overall, could still be good for Vaughn, but overall, I think the carousel win goes to the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S. They're going to have to try and make sure that their defense is still up to snuff. Lilian kind of wandering over there in the corner. Going to have to give up that goal barrier. Ooh!
Yeah, Rasmus, very strong character at scoring goals with the primary. You hit the core and the enemy goalie as it lines up, and they're just hit stun. You can't do anything about it. And they cast the last pickup very strong, as we talked about, right? But your speed is only so fast. But once you start picking up speed awakenings like Super Surge, Aerials, Chrono Boost, you just get so much more value out of that cast last. That Super Surge pickup is very huge.
Right. Gonna be using it to its biggest effectiveness here. Send out that ultimate, but no, the thumps do not land. Gonna get sent into his own goal. A beautiful card from Finii is able to keep that one in front of Bells. Scyther absolutely hitting a critical ability, and that's going to be a score for G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S, keeping this one even, Steven.
Yeah, wow, that was really well played by G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S that round. They did what they were trying to do. They killed Vaughn, and then great card from Scyther to set them up for the offensive play that ended up having a goal.
Ooh, and another, just that secondary with Zentaro after the core flip, and there's just not a whole lot you can do because you can just follow it and start crossing you up. He's gonna try and do it again here. Gravity Well not gonna land, but overall, still a good opportunity for the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S. They can just keep themselves with the core, not get into the hands of Vels or Vaughn. This KO could be very important. Not gonna find it. The core flip doesn't land. The energy burst does not get the KO, and Vaughn uses one of his own. Gonna send that one right past the Finii. And this is S.A.D.B.O.I.S at their peak, right? Like this is the kind of game that they want to be playing.
Right. They love playing those core control games where they rely on pure skill and mechanics and fundamentals of the game to win. And the other team went for definitely a different style of comp where they're trying to land their abilities on enemy players and kill them. So the skills are very different.
Skills are very different, and they're showing off very much how to abuse it. Even with all of the damage, you can't be reliant on it if you're not able to score those goals. And Chrono Boost!
They won the game.
That's over. No, it's legitimately over.
He has Cast a Last, Stagger Swagger, Chrono Boost, Super Surge. He literally has the best. He's the best Octavia trainings. If they lose this game, it's gonna be really well played by G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Yeah, like the fact that like the bulk up is gonna be great, right? A good pickup. The hot shot means the Finii is gonna get even more abilities in the reverb as well, but they have to start playing super precisely to make sure that that Octavia does not get going.
Yeah, well, it's going to be interesting to see if Vaughn even ever loses his speed. I believe the only way he's going to lose is if he's dead. Because with Chrono Boost Cast a Last, it just lasts so long before you can run out of speed.
Look at that! He's just going all the way back and going right around, and he's still got the speed, and he's gonna hit those strikes consistently. He's still got it. Finally gets staggered and is gonna have to run away, but he's still able to keep it. This is the power of Octavia with trainings, with awakenings, and you just have to keep the core away from her, but you can't keep it away from her for that long. She's just gonna run it back up and find you. Finally, flow state goes down, but that stagger striker is gonna make sure that he stays alive. Oh goodness. Finally, a KO comes through for the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S.
And during that round, the only reason Vaughn lost his speed is because the enemies were doing a great job of pressuring him off the core, applying lots of damage and pressure onto Vaughn. And I believe if they weren't playing a damage comp, this game would be borderline unwinnable for the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S.
Borderline unwinnable indeed. A beautiful primary. Not going to be able to find it. YouAlreadyLose with the goal line save like anything I've ever seen. Bell's going to try and hit that one with the dribble. Not going to find it for the time being. Secondary is going to send the core flying. And Elo7 and Leon have a good opportunity, but the core flip alongside the hook. Not going to find it. Scyther playing beautiful defensive gameplay, but two core flips means that there's no stopping this goal.
Yeah. It just shows how strong this Octavia character is with her trainings. Not to harp on it too much, but she just completely took over the game. They have to use all their abilities to pressure them off the core, and it just lets Bells and Caleb just run rampant on the map.
Right, exactly. Like people talk about, you know, like risk reward and opportunity cost, right? Like when something gets so snowballed, you have to start dumping all of your resources so that you can't effectively manage the other threats on the field. And look, speaking of all these threats, Vaughn was drawing all of them towards the top of the screen as Bells was just left alone, ready and waiting to score that with ease.
Yeah, Vaughn dropping a S.A.D.B.O.I.S emote after that 1v9 play. His own emote he won in the tournament.
Oh, that's where that makes so much more sense. I was wondering why, like, he had just been like popping that at every single opportunity because he just loves to drop it, and makes sense now. Gonna be sending this one into the goal area once again, but that's a dead Octavia, and a dead Octavia is better than having an Octavia with no awakenings. This is a very good opportunity to score. Shotgun Shell comes through. Not gonna find it. A nice special from Scyther. These are the gravity wells we need to be seeing. This is how you do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, the game does not look very good for the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S, but they can definitely win, right? That round, they executed their game plan, they killed Octavia, and they just gotta hope they can do it 2 more times and then 3 more times.
It's going to be very hard without one of your other players. Scyther doing a great job keeping these strikes away, but not going to find the core flip, which means the stall is not going to be as effective as it could have been. We'll have him finally coming back online. Oh, the stun from the energy burst means that Bell's able to send that one through an emote, and that's the first. That is the first. Right? The Awakenings fell in such a way that Vaughn got off to a hot game. But this is anybody's game still. They have 2 more maps to try and turn this one around and probably prevent that from happening ever again.
Yeah, and when you're playing these kill comps versus score control comps, dying on either side is really bad. So on that last point, when I forgot who it was on the kill comp, either Leo or Elo Heaven, when they died, it just let Vaughn and Bells just do whatever they wanted on the map, and they just completely lost the race. So that sealed the fate of the last round.
Very interesting. So, if you're in the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S Discord call, what are you telling to your teammates right now to say, like, hey, what adjustments need to be made?
If I was a G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S member right now, I would be coping that the S.A.D.B.O.I.S always get good trainings, and it was unlucky, and we win next game.
You just have to brush it off. You pull a Taylor Swift, shake it off, go next.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, coping is not a bad strategy when you're in that competitive environment, right? You can VOD review and look into your own gameplay after the game, but while you're waiting for set 2, just call it unlucky and go next.
That's so interesting, right? But you're completely right. Like you just have to have that always positive mentality to keep up the energy, keep up the environment, the morale. Make sure they can keep themselves awake and alert. It has been a long day of Omega Strikers for them. I'm sure they just need to keep going for a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe we're going. Vaughn and Elo Heaven are in the Twitch chat, everybody. I believe we're going to get going very soon into this next one. Just going to have to wait for a little bit longer for them to ready back up into the queue, but we're going to get it. Night market this time. No Aten City, no orbs. Hopefully not as oppressive core control.
Night market. Bell's hovering the Atlas. He's really been practicing that character a lot in scrims and solo queue. He's convinced that character is one of the best brawlers in the game.
You're joking, right?
I'm half joking. He thinks the character's pretty good.
Okay. There's no way. Primetime Timeless Creator is what we're hearing as the Awakenings?
Yeah, and we're also hearing that they've swapped their name back to Core Underflow. G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S was not working out. Sticking with the Dubu ban, maybe they could turn it around in this next game.
The name change meta, never before seen. Mid-set name change. And this is the kind of innovations that we're seeing here in Primetime Tuesdays. And speaking of innovations, we've got a X buff comp, if I ever did see one. That's disgusting.
Yeah, they're really playing for Leo Leon. He's the best X in the game by far. There's no competition. He's put so many hours into that character, and he's so scary on the X. So buffing Leo Leon's X is never a bad idea.
I mean, yeah, giving 2 opportunities for Leo Leon to not only hit harder, but also be faster and make sure that the enemies cannot even catch up to him. Bells and Leo already trying to trade staggers, and they're going to be able to do so. Vaughn actually locking in Finii as well, alongside the Vice, which means that there's a lot of damage coming the way of the core underflow. So, it's going to be 2 very interesting KO heavy team comps that are going to be going here. First one goes to core underflow. I don't know, like, do you think that core underflow has the advantage of this one?
I've been trying to analyze the comps myself, and it's very interesting. The 2 comps have very different identities. They both have the Finii to try to stack that damage with the secondary, right? And S.A.D.B.O.I.S are playing a core of Vice Juliet, trying to get Bells on that Juliet, getting KOs, pushing up to score with Caleb supplying damage behind him. But Elo Heaven is just playing to Meow Meow Kit and Rio Leon, so it's pretty interesting to see the differences in the comp.
This is the first time we've had 2 Finnies on stream. The character finally coming into her own. And speaking of coming into their own, S.A.D.B.O.I.S able to send that one through. Bells, a master scorer on Juliet, if I ever did see one. Definitely going to be making the best of those opportunities. But Leo Leon, not to be outdone. Try and get Punch doing his best Oki impression, if I had to say, trying to completely shut down Caleb.
Yeah, and if Leo or Caleb can get their really good trainings in these drops, which they share very similar, very good trainings, so it's going to really come down to who gets higher in the carousels and who denies what. But if either of them start getting really good trainings, the game can just become a complete stomp, as Caleb will start dishing out more damage, or Leon will just start completely 1v9ing with the X.
Leon could very easily 1v9. Player is capable of doing so. Elo Heaven staggered though. Try and send that one through with the bewitching beam. Able to find anything. Gets hooked by the card and gets sent away by Bells. It's a beautiful KO pickup, and the members of Core Underflow are going to have to stall for the time being. Not going to be able to defend that barrier though. That's Bells getting one through with Vaughn. And overall, it seems like the control is in the hands of S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Like you said, it's going to depend on the Awakenings to see how everything shakes out. But 2 goals, and you're not looking too good for the upcoming Awakenings.
Yeah, and it really shows how confident Elo Heaven is in Leon's X. Because Era is a character that in current meta isn't seen played very much, right? It's usually more damage-focused characters, right? Elo Heaven, with the Era, is putting so much faith into Leon being able to carry. And it's really cool to see, because this Leon guy is a bit of a menace on the X.
It is a bit of a menace, but Elo Heaven is going to be the one that gets KO'd again. Instead of Leo, now it's just going to be a little bit just walking around, not going to have anyone to help defend. Core flip from Caleb. That's going to be a double on the other side. Wait a minute, this is a perfect opportunity. Elo Heaven taking that opportunity and KOing Bells. Not giving up just yet. The beautiful secondary means that it's a perfect scoring opportunity for the G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S for Core Underflow. Scyther barely making sure that one does not slide past, and not going to be able to make anything with the power play. Super unfortunate, but they have a good opportunity here. Caleb is low and is not going to find the power cord. Leon shoves it in, sending a S.A.D.B.O.I.S emote of his own. And this is still anybody's game.
And interesting to note about that round is you walk Vice for that crazy offensive pressure with the eject button, right? You can go teleport across the map, make offensive core flip plays, as you saw Caleb did in that round, right? But he core flipped to take the last barrier, but there was no one behind him to rebound it, so it bounced back to his half for the cheesy McDouble, and he lost both his barriers.
The cheesy McDouble. That's... I want to start naming things after McDonald's menu items. I think that is something we should be doing more of in the Omega Strikers community. Speaking of, in the Omega Strikers community, Leon brought Caleb in for a big ol' hug, and Elo Heaven sends that one through. That's an even set count for the time being. There is still a lot in the hands of Leon to make sure that this game goes in their favor.
Yeah, Caleb was under a lot of pressure there with the Arrow Tornado coming in and the Axe applying so much pressure on him. It's really hard to live against these characters.
It's very hard to live. It's very hard to live in general. You know what I mean? Just life hurts. What also hurts is X's hurts. I'm sorry, I don't want to get too depressing on the cast, but I like a good dark joke every once in a while. A core flip and a redirect from Leon means that it's gonna be even harder to live, knowing that they could have had that set 3 times on the side of S.A.D.B.O.I.S. Scyther getting the MVP, and these Finis are going to get first pick of the lot. These are very good, important awakenings.
Yeah, I would say winning this first set is so important for whichever team wins it, right? Because they're playing such a similar comp, they share similar good awakenings, right? So winning this first round is humongous.
Winning the first round, humongous. The build different denied from the X. Not going to get sent down to the Julie, the perfect form. That's going to be interesting, right? That's going to be big damage for Caleb. Chrono Boost is going to be really important for Era, making sure those debuffs never get through, but also the buff abilities, the buff awakenings do not get sent down to Leon, who's not going to have a long time in that Exodus match.
Yeah. And it was very good, that draft, that the Brawler was ahead of Leon was ahead of Bells, Scyther 12 was ahead of Vaughn, so it was just really great because they could just take away each other's strengths.
Right, exactly. Gonna be able to defend the gold barrier for the time being. The damage online from the members of Core Underflow, and they're gonna be able to start punching around, boxing gloves, able to bat that one in. Leon is looking already unstoppable after that first draft, and if that's how this set is gonna go, I don't know what counterplay the S.A.D.B.O.I.S has.
Yeah, when Leo Leon locks in his X, he grabs the suit, he grabs the car, he gets the briefcase, he goes to work on the X.
Yeah, he really do be doing work. And he's gonna try and carry this one home with that suitcase, with the backpack. Gonna be able to get the good clear, and Leo Leon is staggered, so a good opportunity for S.A.D.B.O.I.S for now. He's gonna send that one fiery flurry. And that Goldberry gets taken down for at least a little bit. B.O.I.S is looking a little bit hurt as well, but finally, oh, a big primary! A great card flip from Finii. He's gonna be saying, no, you, Bells. You're not gonna be able to KO me. And YouAreadyLose is looking very slow, not very fun, and a little bit of mispositioning, and Leo Leon is gonna be ending up on the sidelines.
Yeah, that really shows the power of Era there, how they were able to speed up Leo Leon to get that top area. You just get so much pressure with the speed.
Pressure. Finally getting out of the power play. Bell's not gonna find the dash punch, barely misses it, and it's gonna get KO'd for it. Ability is sending this core flying in overtime. G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S there for the cross, might be able to punch it. Vaughn doing a very good defensive effort. The tornado comes through, the Maelstrom not gonna find it, but a bewitching beam, and Caleb not able to react in time. Don't know if he had strike up or not, but that's a very good turnaround from Core Underflow, and they're looking nigh unstoppable. 4 or 5 unanswered points.
Yeah, YouAlready is getting so much value out of his beams. On that round, he was able to shrink Bells and make Leo Leon big, as well as make Leo Leon big and score a goal. So he's just getting so much value out of that Era pick.
And I think that they recognize that now, because they KO'd him.
Yeah. I'm honestly surprised more KOs aren't coming out in this KO comp versus KO comp mirror. But it seems more so that the S.A.D.B.O.I.S are playing a bit of a hybrid comp, as they're playing a lot for core control instead of completely playing for KOs.
Right, you see Bells really trying to use those abilities to score, not necessarily to pick off the core positioning, as well as Vaughn using the abilities to make sure that the midfield stays alive. But for the time being, Bells is now back, no more power play. Vaughn is getting a little bit hurt. He's able to keep the core up. G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S getting punched down for the time being. Caleb has a good opportunity to maybe secure some of these KOs. If he can find the abilities. If they can get the core away from the side of the net. What are you saying?
I was gonna say that that shows how strong Finii is. Vaughn placed a secondary on Era, and Bells just completely one-shot him with a single combo.
Wait, really?
Yeah, he was on the sliver of HP after ult dash punch.
Really, that is the power of Finii, and that's gonna be S.A.D.B.O.I.S turning things around. Vaughn showing the power of the pick. Couple of non-believers, but this is looking good now. They might have some momentum going.
Yeah, it's really good to see Finii finally being picked up, as she's definitely a more difficult character, with her being very different to other strikers in the cast, and her primary being very difficult abilities to land across the map and the backwards mechanic. But it seems people are starting to figure her out and discover that she's very strong in competitive play with synchronized attacks on a single person.
Synchronized attacks, indeed. That is the name of the game. A double barrier take from Leo Leon, and Vaughn has no evades left. Barely is able to stay alive. Unfortunately, Scyther walked up with the core flip, wants this set secured, and is going to be able to. They've got a very good deal. Got some security cameras, got the alarm system. That is a secure set for Core Underflow.
And yeah, X first pick, he gets to probably go with heavy impact, tempo swing, or stagger strike. Tempo swing gives him that healing as well as the damage.
Ooh, I like that. I actually do like that. You know, he wants to not only make sure that he wants the best of both worlds, Hannah Montana style. Stagger Swagger going for Bells though, which is going to increase his speed, increase his control, and make sure that he's not getting punched out due to pure damage, which is what this comp is kind of like surrounded by, right? They're doing damage, not just pure knockback.
Yeah, exactly. And Vice, you already lose. He gets heavy impact, which if you didn't know, that's actually Vice's guitar. So it's pretty good on Vice. A lot of damage and a lot of cooldowns.
Very good. Right, exactly, because you can hit so many people so often. Speaking of Vice, get a Thunderstruck right in there from midfield. Not going to be able to find it. A beautiful defensive showing from Scyther, showing that Finii goalie can still work well in those tight scenarios, in those crazy situations, with a couple of well-placed strikes and abilities, and is going to leave them with another opportunity. Unfortunately, the stun by Vaughn with the card, not going for the core, instead going for the goalie, and that one's going to slide past. S.A.D.B.O.I.S, they've still got some tricks up their sleeve. They don't call her the trickster for nothing.
Yeah, and as you see, Bell's 1 HP at the end of the round, running away for his life the whole round, very fast and healing a lot from the Stagger Swagger. Do you think that Core Underflow is regretting the decision of not denying Julie's Stagger Swagger?
They probably are. Look at how healthy Bells is compared to the rest of Core Underflow, and the ultimate is going to make sure that this core goes through. Look at the oppressive abilities from Vice, and the core is going to slide past with a couple of nice strikes, and this is the scaling that we see from these kinds of compositions, right? The Juliet really just needs a couple awakenings to get going. Same with the Vice.
And it seems that they're just getting completely overwhelmed in the damage race. S.A.D.B.O.I.S are just constantly winning in damage. I think it's in large part due to Caleb getting that heavy impact pickup on Vice, which just really increases her damage by a lot, as all 3 of her abilities are impacts, and they're very easy to hit multiple players and the core with, so you just get so much damage in cooldowns.
So much damage, so much cooldowns, and look at how poised is the members of S.A.D.B.O.I.S. All of a sudden, a flip switched after that carousel, and they are ready to take this one back. They want another Primetime Tuesday Grand Final under their belt. On the show, on the casing for everyone to see, all of those medals displayed, and another great awakening pickup for the Finii with Deadeye.
Yeah, Vaughn has been raving about how good Deadeye is on Finii and how it's one of her best trainings, because all 3 of her abilities abuse it. You can just secondary them from far away, and it even applies on her secondary 30% more damage.
That's crazy, actually. That's a little bit ridiculous. So the really good pickup for Vaughn, gonna make sure that that damage is even more amplified. But a very interesting pickup for Leo Leon at the end of that carousel, the peak performance. Well, even with the extra stagger, you're not exactly going to be taking that much more damage. You're still going to be taking a beating, as well as 11. Eric getting sent flying. Scyther's going to try and keep this one away, but no, Bells knows exactly how to score that with Juliet.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, this is a disgusting composition now.
Yeah, after S.A.D.B.O.I.S went down 2-0, I don't know if it was their comms or like, all right, let's focus up and win this thing, or they just got their trainings, but they're just absolutely steamrolling now. What do you think it is? Do you think it's a trainings gap or a mental gap?
It's probably a mental gap, if I'm being quite frank. Just the fact that they can go, all right, it's our time to play the game now, and decide we know exactly what awakenings we got and how to abuse them. Because it's not like they didn't get good awakenings on the side of Core Underflow, right? Like the tempo swing, all of the great abilities for X, right? But they know now exactly how to make that counterplay happen, and it's a matter of being able to recognize that in the moment. Oh, what a great power forward from Caleb to stop that core flip. And this is the kind of difference that I'm talking about. You know, like, they see a core flip and just go, all right, I can stop this thing. Even if Bells gets KO'd here, Caleb's going to try and save this goal. And he's going to be able to. He's probably going to be able to save this. Look at him just try and bounce it off the 45. Finally gets KO'd, and a first goal for Core Underflow. I really do think it's a mental difference.
Yeah, Leo Leon is just so massive. They are starting to catch up in the damage. That round they were not focusing Bells, but instead focusing Vaughn and Caleb. Might be a strategy change to not hit the guy with Stagger Swagger.
Right, exactly. Don't hit the guy that's just going to completely heal off all your damage. Crazy thought, but in the moment it's very hard to recognize, right? That's the kind of mid-set adjustments that these players need to make, and it's very hard in organized settings to make those adjustments.
And Leo Leon is just getting so much value, being constantly beamed by Era and having that ult increase his size as well. He's just applying so much pressure on NPC in this set.
He's applying so much pressure. Vaughn coming back online now. The core gets stopped by the Thunderstruck. Not gonna find The goal save is Caleb. Elo Heaven. This is going to be match point. This is Core Underflow's chance to turn this thing around and send this one to a final match here on Primetime Tuesday, number 8, and potentially upset S.A.D.B.O.I.S. But they've got a long road ahead of them. They need to get this one through now, or else the momentum is going to go back right into the hands of Bells and Vaughn, who know exactly what to do with it. And Caleb is going to try and send that supernova through the core flip. The beautiful dribbles from Bells. Waits out every single possible ability and clears it through to the goal, and they're trying to keep themselves alive and in contention for this grand finals right now.
Yeah, Elo Heaven and Core Underflow are really trying to prove that S.A.D.B.O.I.S really aren't that good when they don't get their lucky trainings that they seem to get every game.
Is that like is there some hidden lore that I don't know about there? Is there a...
It's a common thing that S.A.D.B.O.I.S have very good awakening luck, and Elo Heaven was typing in the chat after the first game, talking about how they got such good luck in that first game.
Oh, really? I didn't see that. I try not to look at Twitch chat while I'm casting. Sometimes I take a little peek, but I did not see that comment. And they're going to try and change their fate with the awakenings. That's Core Underflow, excuse me, turning this set into a match 3. Leo Leon on the characteristic X, sending that one home.
Yeah, don't get Core Underflow mixed up with Core Overflow. It's the same team. They just upgraded their goalie in Core Underflow.
Damn. Okay, fighting words. I love that. But that's a very good showing, right? Against S.A.D.B.O.I.S, the team to beat. Like you said, the gap is closing, and this is exactly why.
Yeah. I mean, it really shows that at the start of launch, S.A.D.B.O.I.S were just winning everything, right? But now it's cool to see that the gap is closing.
Because it gives people hope, right?
Yeah. It definitely gives people hope. And I was just gonna say, I wonder what will happen once there starts being like more newer players. Like I believe Scyther is a new player, and he's competing at the highest level. So it's cool to see once we start seeing full teams of new players really winning tournaments and taking down top teams. Really?
So, tell me a little bit more about Scyther. Like, what is his background? Like, when did he start picking up the game? Did he start on release?
I know. I don't really know. I played a lot back in beta, and I don't remember him at all from beta. And I started seeing him pop up a lot recently. Let me check his core strike really quick. Okay. It looks like he has about 500 games learning the game. Pretty cool.
That's really impressive. Quite honestly, just going from release and just grinding out 500 and saying, all right, I'm ready to compete at the highest level. Very cool to see, right? Like you said, there's a lot of players in the amateur series right now, right? There's talks about a tier 2 league that might be happening, that should be happening. And there's a lot of players, even outside of the top, that are trying to get good at this game, that are trying to come up to this level. And it's really cool to see that these players are getting there now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's tons of people watching in Twitch chat that are like, hey, I want to be that person competing. And people like Scyther are showing them that it's possible, and you don't have to have played the game for 2 years, like Vaughn has, to be good at the game.
Very awesome and inspirational stuff. This is going to be match number 3, grand finals of Primetime Tuesday number 8. S.A.D.B.O.I.S versus Core Underflow. We're getting IME's app. The big black hole in the middle is going to be a huge detriment, and Julie players are going to be fiending everywhere. Is Bells going to get back on that Rasmus? It seems like they are going to let it through. We might see a lot of KOs from that central hole, but wait a minute. What?
Yeah.
Did S.A.D.B.O.I.S ban it?
Yeah, S.A.D.B.O.I.S banned it. They just want to play for KOs is what I'm assuming, because Amy's app is a map that is very KO reliant, and I'm expecting both teams to lock more KO focused comps on this map. Era Julie, I could be wrong. Caleb might be locking that Vice, or he might be locking the Kai, more defensive option, instead of the pure outright damage that Vice has.
A very good chance that we see both. Instead, going for the third option behind door number 3, the IME on her own application. Caleb known for that Ivy goalie. This is a very good composition if you're on the side of S.A.D.B.O.I.S. This is your bread and butter. This is what you've known for a long time. The Zentaro, Drakkar, Kai, though, on the other side is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and perhaps Caleb walked the Amy because it was twin drive start and he opted to take that eject button. You just have so much secondary access with that eject button and that twin drive.
Right, and as you see, he's going to be trying to play that third forward play style and is already showing how powerful it can be. Scyther trying to scoop that one, but no, Barrage is not able to connect cleanly. Bell's going to send that one by, and this is S.A.D.B.O.I.S game to win, if I had to guess. They definitely are going to be putting on so much pressure. Vaughn is a wizard on this era, right?
Yeah, I think that S.A.D.B.O.I.S have a pretty big advantage when it comes to comp. They lock that core control comp with the big fish start, so they get more stagger. They have that Juliet, that Era, and that Amy with the turret behind for even more scoring and core control pressure. Whereas the core underflow, they lock that KO comp with Drakkar, Zentaro, and the Kai. And I think part of the reason they're at that disadvantage is because they locked that Kai instead of a more damaging goalie like Luna, Vice, Amy. So they just don't have as much damage to kill with that KO comp.
Right, exactly. This Kai is going to be kind of locked behind this goal line. Even if Yeesh can play up, it's not going to be every day that you're going to see him go past that line. And the Giga Blast can go out, but it's not going to be that much damage, at least not yet. They're going to be trying to depend on these awakenings. They need to get at least some goals now, put on some kind of pressure, and they do. A couple of good opportunities, and as soon as that goal barrier goes down, the effectiveness that Imi does go down.
Yeah, and it's just going to come down to which team gets more midfield pressure, in my opinion. It's going to come down to, can Elo Heaven outplay Vaughn? Can Vaughn outplay Elo Heaven? Who can get that pressure and score first?
As you see, the shotgun trying to get by, but Vaughn is doing a good job using those strikes. Not getting too aggressive yet, but Vaughn is going to have to back up for the time being, going to get completely pushed away from the side of the field where things are happening. Finally going to get back into play. Or trying to get this goal barrier, not gonna find it, but was that a cyber swipe from YouAlreadyLose that gets the member of S.A.D.B.O.I.S down? That was crazy. Wait a minute.
Yeah, that was a really
so fast.
Strange combo that Caleb did, and he executed it very well. He actually dashed on top and glitch popped them upwards into the black hole in the middle. Really well played.
Oh, it was the combo. Okay, because it looked like it came from the side, but that makes sense. The glitch pop after the stun sends him into the hole, and a prime time on Primetime Tuesday means that this Juliet is going to be punching even more.
A lot of denying in this draft. Julie Primetime to deny the Kai. Kai cast the last to deny the Era, and Era heavy impact to deny the Zentaro.
Wait, that's so funny. That's so crazy. And then the aerials to deny the Ivy. Instead gets Timeless Creator, and of course, the awakening that most people see as very, very strong in almost every character, the Happy Star, falls all the way to the end. That's a disgusting combination of all the specials coming out at the same time from the S.A.D.B.O.I.S. And if you're Kai, there's nothing you can do there, right? You're trying to stiff arm, and they're all up in your grill.
That's exactly what S.A.D.B.O.I.S want to do. They want to have Vaughn make Bells big, put a tornado behind him, put the turret behind Bells, and just let them all stuff the goalie all together.
And that they did. Looks like they're trying to do it again already. The goal barrier down. Bells gets the core flip pass from Vaughn and slides it by with no goalie anywhere in sight. How many times has this Kai died? I think it's like they've scored 5 times. I'm pretty sure this Kai has died 3 or 4.
Yeah, and this team has some characters that are very good at killing the goalie, right? That Arrow Tornado is very hard to look out for if you don't have that elusive. And Juliet can often just surprise kill you when you're trying to think about defending the goal and you just get dashed from it. Oh well.
Oh well, indeed. The level difference as well is absolutely staggering right now. Bells is at 5, Elo Heaven is at 2 right now. It's disgusting. The staggers are so low, and because of that, the damage is coming through even more. Bells is going to have the core flip, spread the members of core underflow, and that's another clean 3-0 set. This is so much pressure from S.A.D.B.O.I.S.
And an underrated part that a lot of people might not notice is the twin drive Amy with the eject button. Caleb, you already lose, is able to apply so much pressure. So Juliet's going to be able to pick up Built Different. Oh, that's absolutely huge. Bells now has Built Different, Big Fish, and an Arrow Beam. Scyther's going to have a rough time trying to defend the goal now.
I mean, legitimately, they need to start protecting that goal barrier, right? The perfect form denial from Zentaro, I think, is interesting.
Yeah.
Deadeye, the train, it's not over,
Yeah.
but holy cow, this is looking really bad.
Yeah, Caleb and Bells really got some of their best trainings on their characters, and Vaughn is able to deny VOD on one of his best trainings. So it's really looking good for the S.A.D.B.O.I.S here.
Looking good. Fade coming through Bells. It's going to be a little bit weak for the time being, but this turret, Scyther just does not know how to play against it and takes all of those hits. Bell sends it through. This is a little bit of an anticlimactic grind finals, Goomy, but
yeah.
Like it's just good Omega Strikers.
Yeah, I mean, the team of G.L.A.D.B.O.I.S, Core Underflow, whatever their name has been this tournament, they still have a chance to win, right? If they just start winning those strike wars, getting that core control, and S.A.D.B.O.I.S, they have very strong awakenings, right? As they tend to do with their great awakening luck. But yeah, I think it's possible for Core Underflow to run it back.
Run it back. The ultimate tries to evade and swipe it, but not gonna find it. Match point already for S.A.D.B.O.I.S. They want to take home their, I believe, 8th Primetime Tuesdays.
Yeah.
They're looking very poised to do it. It doesn't look like there's any kind of adjustment that's being made on the side of Core Underflow. Kai goes down one last time. Vaughn has the core flip. Bells is looking weak for the first time this set, but the core flip lands. The barrier goes down. Kai's alive, but not for long. The abilities, the eject button, the turret comes through, the firewall sentry. Finally, Bells gets KO'd, and ELO Heaven is now level 5, a huge XP pickup. Vaughn trying to secure this with a dribble. Caleb's gonna try and dash forward as well, try and just get this goal through. The goal barrier goes down, and this is Core Underflow's opportunity, but Bells is walking towards the goal line and punches it through with all of the size.
He's so big!
He's so big! The Bewitching Beam helped him get that massive punch. And S.A.D.B.O.I.S takes that one clean from Core Underflow. They are your winners of Primetime Tuesdays number 8. A very well-deserved game.
Yeah, I mean, S.A.D.B.O.I.S just played better that game. You could cope about awakenings, and maybe that's what they're doing in their call. S.A.D.B.O.I.S always getting good awakenings, but it just felt like a midfield canyon that game.
A massive canyon. Like, Vaughn had 71 redirects, ELO Heaven 39. Yeah. That's the kind of difference that we've been seeing. Like, that's just such a big difference in the core control that we saw, right? And because of that, Kai's effectiveness is so neutered. They couldn't keep the core away from it. He had to just keep using his abilities to try and keep the core away, and they just couldn't manage it.
Yeah, and both games Era was picked in the series. The Era won. Could it be the return of Era?
Era is weak, guys. 3C in the chat already. A GG's indeed, but goodness, I think that we're starting to see where this meta is heading. Goomy, what are your words of wisdom, your final thoughts here before we end things off?
Just because S.A.D.B.O.I.S won again does not mean that they can't be taken down, right? Primetime Tuesday, Big Fish Friday, whatever they'll be competing in, they're gonna lose their win streak of weekly tournaments eventually, right? You just gotta keep at it and eventually beat them.
Surely, one of these days they'll lose, right?
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, there was that first game.
Yeah.
Right? There was the second game where they got taken to town by that X. So it's just a matter of time and a couple of things going the way of their enemies, and the streak will stop. But for now, it has continued. I believe that we're going to be ending it off here. Goomy, where can people find you on social media if they want to follow what you're doing?
Twitch.tv/GoomyOS. I'm gonna start streaming solo queue. So yeah, if you want to see some high level gameplay, educational content, tune in.
All right, bet. My name is Magic 8 Ball at Magic_Octo on Twitter. I spend too much time on that app, or X as it's called now. Let's be real here. Um, no Primetime Tuesday next week. Big Fish Friday will happen this Friday, and no Twin Drive Thursday. Sorry, production's in my ear. No Twin Drive Thursday this week. Primetime Tuesday will be back next week, and Big Fish Friday is happening this week. So stay tuned. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. I'm a Magic 8 Ball. This has been Goomy, a wonderful Pokemon to my left. Thank you all so much for watching. We will see you next time.
Bye.